This is the continuation of our last episode with Ms. Anjana Shakya and Mr. Prajwalman Shakya, co-founder and director of Bodhisattva Gallery respectively. So it's not that there were no exhibition or there were exhibition, but then why your exhibition was up to that mark?
Well, I would say before that, a lot of the exhibitions that took place of Nyawa artworks was basically done by artist groups. So this was the first time when a private collector showed his collection.
So there were never any
I don't think
exhibitions.
I doubt there was any before.
Okay.
And of what I've heard till date, this was the biggest show of that time.
Yeah, even I was surprised to know that all the artworks were from the Soul collection of late Mr. Purnavan Shakya and Anjana ji.
Yes. So, to do this kind of exhibitions, we have to buy. It's not like we can just get it in consignment, because it takes a lot of years to do a good exhibition of this caliber. And to do that, you have to buy the artworks, because an artist usually, that's their bread and butter. So to run their house, they have to sell their pieces. Be it a statue
They can
maker.
hold it.
Yes, they cannot hold it. So be it a statue maker, a statue carver, or a pop-up artist, they have to do a work and they have to sell it. That's the way they run their house. So to do this kind of exhibition, we have to buy artworks and we have to hold on to them.
It must have been very difficult.
I think it was tough on both of them.
Yeah. To hold on with the artwork.
It was 25 years. So basically it was the collection, within what we collected within 25 years. And as I said, it's like he would be so passionate, even if he can't sometimes if he can't even buy, for whatever reason, financial reason, whatever, he'll be so traumatized. And, I would rather see him happy than traumatized, so I think the challenge was really, really difficult, because it takes so much time, so much energy and so much money. I don't think really people understand why it is being, it's so difficult to do it. And also I think the quality, as Prajwal said, the quality is so important, because he really wanted to have masterpieces, not just something you bring it from market and do it, or buy it and put it in the exhibition. So it. And even if like a lot of people don't want to show, that's also another thing, that's our culture, that you don't show in Newari we say, you don't show your tuku. That's also something. I think a lot of people were surprised that, we did that exhibition, and also, made the artists, we honored the art, all the 33 artists. So I think, we put their names with the Powa paintings. And also it has to do with, I think, my education and Prajwal's education, along with, Purna.
So you had
Purna's
the
values.
artist's name in the exhibition?
Yes, for the first time we had, we wanted to also put the face of the artist with the art, because we really wanted them to be, respected. That was the whole point of doing it. And also, because we come from very kind of Western educated background, we also put the price for the first time, in the tags for each of the painting and statues. And I think people were quite upset with that. We heard a lot of complaints.
Yeah, even it was covered in the paper, in the media, you need to see this 15 lakh painting. So I would like to hear more on this.
I think the highlight was, the whole idea, it's a good promotion. A lot of more people came because they wanted to see what kind of a 15 lakh painting would look like. So a lot of people, came walking even during the buns from as far from Sundarijal to just see what a 15 lakh painting looks like. But I think because of that, a lot of people just visited the show and was not just impressed by one piece, but all the artworks. All the different all the pieces that we had. Everybody was wowed with it, because it was. Everybody felt that Newar art before that exhibition was just mere copies of what, a lot of the Lichavi period or Malla period or the 13th, 14th century artwork or from different museums were, they were just copies of those. But when they saw the exhibition and all the pieces that we had, they realized that Newa art was not just mere copies. Yes, there are replicas from works that you see in the museums, but they were in the exhibition. You could see artworks that were of wide range, of wide variety, and every artist has and had their own stylization. Yes, they have to stick with certain iconography and they cannot change that. But beyond that, they have the freedom of doing, what kind of colors they want to play with, what kind of patterns they want to use, what kind of settings, the landscapes and, the motion of the deities. They can all play with it. They can be all creative with it. So I think with the exhibition, that's what they saw was their creation, their creativity that is there, which previously, like Mom said, no one wanted to show. There are still a lot of collectors in Kathmandu Valley that collect Newa art, but usually they don't show their collection. And with that and her collection, they saw that there's so much of work that's going on in the valley that has gone unnoticed.
Also, I think, it was not just one poa which was 50. Actually, we didn't want to sell it. That was the whole reason why it was priced 50.
And I think that was Bajrapani.
There were actually three big ones. It's not only Bajrapani. There was Safo Mahankal, Bajrapani, and Bhairav Kumari. Those are all quite huge ones. And also the Siddhi Ganesh, which Prajwal was talking about, we didn't want to sell any one of those. And actually, that's why it was priced in that way. But I think, even then, there were people who really begged to be sold. Then there was also people who, even from, Nepal Art Council's member who was like, no, what's so big deal? It's all, copies. Then would people want to even buy? I'm like, I was so pissed off. I was actually offended. I said, people are already buying, most of them are already sold. So it was really about, I think the whole taken for granted, in terms of like whether Newa art is a creative platform or not. It's. I think that's where we also was focusing on, and it was so interesting. This whole exhibition was so interesting. It was so exciting. It was so nerve-wracking.
So this was your first exhibition?
This was our first exhibition. This was, our 25 years of collection. This was like, we were like, really didn't know how people are going to react to it. Because already we were getting flags for, how we are respecting the artists and paying the artists. We're already getting flagged by the business community. And so I think, when we started, just before it started, we thought even people would not, come to attend the inaugural. So we just thought we'll just do it in front of, Siddhartha Art Gallery and Bodhisattva Gallery, which was adjacent to each other. It was a kind of a passage between Shez Caroline, and so. Actually, we realized there were so many people, we had to change at the last minute to the Mulchok of Barmal Revisited
because there was a bigger turnout?
There were so many people. Actually, we were very, very surprised. At one point, we thought it'll be, family, friends, and the artists will be in the inaugural. But we were so shocked when pleasantly shocked that there were so many people who came. The whole time there was so many, the people were so excited because I think the kind of quality and this just the scale of it, I think I don't think anyone had seen that kind of scale ever before. So it was really, and also we had a lot of lecture series, which also attracted a lot of people.
So how long did the exhibition go?
Almost 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
So
how many visitors did you have?
We don't know. We did not count, but according to Siddhartha Art Gallery, they said basically it's a lot. It's one of the best shows they have done. So till then.
So what were the feedbacks that you received from the visitors?
Like I said earlier, there was this contemporary artist who told me he never realized that Newa art was so diverse.
And versatile.
Yeah. And everybody had their own style. Everybody was unique. It's all about the gods and goddesses, but the way they were depicting them were so different. So a lot of good feedback, and the feedback you can just see, with people walking even during the buns, because during the buns, we still opened the exhibition because there were so many people coming. The first time there was a bun, we did not think people would come, but I was amazed that people were still walking to the show. So that was the kind of feedback we got. In terms of sales, also I think it was a good good amount of sales. One reason why we were selling was so that people got a chance to purchase good quality artwork. Dad always, what he did was, he would sell few. Even when we had the store before, he would keep the best for himself. And then he would also sell because he wanted people to have a chance to own a masterpiece. So even in this exhibition, there were paintings that we did not wanted to sell, and then there were paintings that we wanted people to have a chance to own them. So that's why there was there was a good amount of transaction in terms of sales as well, and which I think Mom just said. People were surprised because they thought. There were people that thought that no one is going to buy it, but there were people who were asking us to sell, even the ones that we didn't want it to.
It was so amazing, this Siddhi Ganesh, there was one person who really wanted to buy, and Purna was like, no, we are not selling. And, there were so many requests, so finally I was able to convince him. So unfortunately, that person even said that he would come to steal it at night if it is not going to be sold. So I was like, no, let it be, we can still get many other art pieces. And finally, when I was able to convince him, somebody else bought it right away. So it was very, very interesting. And I think, it's about, there was never empty space. There were always people around, quite a few people around. So in the entire time, actually, even we got requests to extend, but it was really, people were really, really surprised, pleasantly surprised by it. And we could even see it from the remarks they have written in our visitors book. Like, they were just so surprised by the whole, the whole scale, the quality of artwork. I think that was the most important part.
So you also had a catalog printed.
Yes, I'll come back to the catalog part, but regarding the feedback, I would say a lot of the sales purchases was done by the Nepali audience, the Nepali collectors. So
which you were not you were not prepared, or
no? I guess people who saw the quality, they wanted to own it, and Nepalis were had not seen it before. So I say a lot of the statues or the paintings that got sold were purchased by the Nepalis, and the Mahakala was sold. I would say after the exhibition, because we were, like Mom said, we really did not want to sell it. So it was sold only after the exhibition, after a lot of the buyer, the collector who wanted to buy it would just visit the house and request us to sell it. So after multiple requests, we said, okay, because I told Dad, because if this guy is coming to our house asking for us so many times, he would really keep it in a he would love the painting, and he would love the way Dad
he will take care of it,
and he will take care. So that's the reason we sold it, not for the money, but because we knew this collector is going to keep it the way we would have. Another piece that got sold after the exhibition was Akash Jogini, and it was bought by a Chinese museum. So you could see the kind of collection that we had, that people just appreciated it. That was something very important for us. So coming back, so now about the catalog. The catalog initially was written by Min Bahadur Shakya, late Min Bahadur Shakya, and he focused more on the iconography, and it was amazing that just to learn about the iconography. But for us, we wanted something that talked about not just the iconography, but about the different styles by different artists. So I approached my godmother, Ellen Kun, my mom's best friend, and I said to her, this is what we wanted, and that's not what we got written. It was focused more on iconography. So she said, why not talk with Dr. Adina Bangdal, who was Mom's friend from school. And I had also spoken with her while I was in college. So I emailed Dr. Adina ji and told her this is what we are doing. This is the 25 years of collection and everything, all the things that we were doing, and asked her if she would be interested in writing a catalog that would focus mostly on stylization. Iconography, you could just find it. Min Vadai had written iconography books on it, multiple books on it. We could search online, but something that talked about stylization, which till then I think no one had talked about. So Dinaji came on board, so she started working on it. But during those days, if you remember, we had load shedding. There were hardly any.
She was not here.
Dinaji was she was in back to the States.
Okay, so you were coordinating, and then.
So we were coordinating online, and there would hardly be light the entire day. So what I did was I would interview the artist and then write it, and then at the night time I'd wake up and just start emailing it to Dinaji, and she would ask more questions. I'd be replying. So I would be working in the daytime. I would work interviewing the artist, and at the night time I'd be talking with Dinaji about it. And during the daytime, whenever they were like that, would be he would start working on. He worked on the catalog designing, the publication. He would all the the minute details of the exhibition and the catalog. He would work on it. So it was an interesting time.
It was so interesting, I used to feel like I was walking on an eggshell, the kind of pressure there was, because it was the last minute. It was not something that, because as Prajwal said, it was late Min Bahadur Shakya who we earlier commissioned for the catalog, but we realized that we want more than just a catalog for the exhibition, but something that it could be used later on, for academic purpose, whatever. So that's where it was only about 2 weeks left before we could really finish the text and catalog. So Prajwal would gather all the information, all the data that was required for the catalog, and it will be sent to Dina. So it's like he was working at night. At the same time, because of the load shedding, there were times even at night he couldn't work. So everyone was so tense, and Purna was like, doing the formatting. He was a perfectionist, that everything he did had to be perfect, whether it's art piece, whether it's statue, poa, any of the gold pieces or coral pieces, and the book, catalog. It has to be perfect. So he would work on like formatting, editing, all that stuff. Whereas Prajwal was getting all the information about the deities, all the artists, the dimensions of the artwork, whatever. And there was,
and also their vision, like why did they paint it in certain that stylization.
So interviewing all of them to get their vision. So so we were all working. I was supporting. I wasn't doing much at that time, because it was like such a pressure, because within 2 weeks we had to finish it. And also, even the printer was brought in board, because we had to print it within 24 hours. And because, he was somebody we had worked for many years, and we knew, also a friend. So Purna already told him, like, Ravi, you better do it, within 24 hours. And he did it, So I think it was really a teamwork to really bring out the best, I would say, and something that is, usable. People are still using it. So I think it was really something we had difficulty, but enjoyed, I think, eventually.
And it's still, even though we had those difficult times, and it was such a struggle to put everything together, what really makes me happy is people still talk about it. People still talk about the quality of the exhibition. People still say that it's the benchmark.
And you had several top series also.
Yes. One thing we've always, because again, like Mom said, because we come from this Western education background, we wanted people to be have it as a platform where people can share about their experiences. It should be something that is fruitful to everybody. So we had talk program from the late Dr. Dina Bangdel, Uday Charan Shrestha, Vijay Shakya, and late Deepak Joshi. So all focus on different topics for the exhibition. And we had a good turnout in this series as well. So it was, and then we opened the floor for question and answer, so that they would learn more about Newa artwork from different lenses and different their own views. Vijay Ratna Shakya, this was his first time talking in a larger audience, so he was practicing, in front of his wife, in front of kids, on giving this presentation. So we always wanted it to be the exhibitions that we later on did, and also that particular one, we wanted it to be
Platform?
a platform for people to know about Newa art and culture and the heritage that we live in. So that was one important aspect of all the exhibitions we have done at that particular one, and even the ones that we did later.
Wow, so much of work. I would have never known about it if you had not chosen to share with us.
I think this platform of the podcast, we really wanted to talk about the exhibitions, because a lot of the time people only see a great show, but they don't realize the kind of work that goes behind. The effort, the time, putting up a show for that took us 25 years. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time, and
it's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job, and because we are commissioning everything.
Yeah,
it's all paid.
And on top, it's a commissioning, and a lot of money is.
Also, I think a lot of people don't realize that we put a lot of ideas too. We put a lot of time and energy in it too, because we want it to be best. And also it's a teamwork. I would say it's a teamwork, not just like one or the other. But I think a lot of time also maybe we are not articulating the time we have invested. Not just money, but the time and the idea we have invested. I think that's something people really don't realize. And in some ways, we also, I think the Vijay was presenting on the statue making process, and I think actually I remember somebody saying, "Oh my God, we are not paying enough for the statue." I mean, that was I think after one of the. In the interaction, he said, "Oh my God, we didn't realize so much effort goes into it. That this price is really too little."
No, I think because when you see what you see in the market is more commercial stuff. It's made for the tourist as a commodity. The things that the art pieces that we have is art. One of the statues that was showcased in our store during that period was a Shakyamuni Buddha. Just the carving took 5 years. A lot of these pieces takes years and years of work. So from
I just want to share a story with it. I took my best friend's sister to one of the carvers' place, and my youngest son was 2 years old at that time, and it was the Buddha that was being carved, and he was sitting. They were both in sitting position, and it was same height. And by the time it was complete, he was 7 years old. So even when he was there, part of it was already carved. But it just takes so much time to do it. And it's also, I think, the reason we have such different quality is really about working together. It's not about just asking an artist to do it. And also you have the knowledge, you have years of knowledge or generations of knowledge, because Purna's grandparents were also artists. And so it's really a lot of, it's in the genes. I would say it's in the genes, because it was very interesting for me when, my kids were young. They when they drew, actually they were quite good. Some of the drawing I had seen Purna's, it was amazing actually. I think it was not, people didn't encourage the being artist or whatever, especially with Purna. I would say I don't think he was encouraged to really expand his ability. But actually, with both my sons, I did say they can learn if they want to, but somehow, they did learn for a certain time and they didn't continue. But what I'm saying is that what goes in any piece of art we have is really, I think, with love, with care and passion, and a lot of guidance and inputs throughout this process, and that's why it really makes it into a superb piece we have. And actually, anyone who comes, even in the gallery today, they are just amazed by it.
So, like for I would say even during the exhibition, when I came back in 2009, and by the time we did the exhibition in 2011, I would visit the artist almost like let's say a couple of times in a week. I would just not. I would not even wait for a Saturday. I would just randomly go to an artist to see what they are doing, how they're doing the work, be it the statue makers or the power painters. I would just randomly go, so that it was a learning experience for me. But at the same time, Dad gave me that space to be vocal about, if I saw something wrong, or if I thought there should be some add-on, he gave me that space to say it as well. Some suggestion they would take, some suggestion they might not, but I would still, it was a dialogue when we were commissioning these pieces. Dad would just ask me, what do you think? What changes do you think there needs to be there? So indirectly he was teaching me and showing me things that need to be changed. But a lot of the times we would have these talks with the artists to make sure that the art pieces were different and more better than what they had done before.
I would say Purna was training you since very young. I remember the time when they used to complain. They used to come and complain, Daddy doesn't let us go anyway. We always have to go with him. Actually, now thinking back, it's really training from really, really young age to really learn, because it's not about you learn it in a college or in school or or university. It's really learning by being there, by doing it, and I think now thinking back, I think it was a really good training for you guys since you guys were very young.
Now, I think the way he always taught us was he would not pinpoint, anything. He would say, you look at it, you decide what is good and what is not. And then I think that space made us realize and gave us, it made us look at the holistic approach. It was, you look at the statue or painting and then decide what is good and bad. So that's how we learn. You would just watch the paintings, watch the statues in the house. You look at them every day, and then you realize which is a good piece and bad pieces. And then you realize the iconography. So the way he taught us was very different. It was not like, this is the right way to look at certain pieces. There was like, for him, it was like, there's never a right way. You just look at it and you appreciate
it is intuitive.
Yes.
It is really you can really feel it inside what works and what doesn't, because he does the same thing with me, although I'm more into human rights field, so I would not accompany him as much as Prajwal would, but it was all about what do you feel, what do you think, so it's really a lot learning in that way, I would say.
So, okay, then now what are your future plans? You are still going for the exhibition? Or?
So we are continuing Dad's legacy and his vision. And as part of that, we are going to continue with our exhibitions. Since 2011, we have done numerous exhibitions as well. For example, the Jewels of Nevar Art Hyatt Regency Kathmandu exhibitions that started in 2012. That was our biannual and annual exhibition. After that, we also did the Embodied Enlightenment 2016, which was a retrospective exhibition. And 2019, we did the Jewels of Nevar Art second edition as well. Next year, we are going to do more exhibitions. Depends on the lockdown and this how things change. But we are planning to do more shows. We are also going to do an art competition with the name of in memory of my late father. So this is going to be an annual exhibition each year. 1 year we are going to do a statue competition. The other year we are going to do a Powa exhibition. The reason why we are going to do this is when Dad was alive, a lot of the artists asked him basically to host a competition, which at that point my father felt it was not appropriate. So now we have decided we'll do the art competitions and award in name of my late father.
Wow, if you had not chosen to speak about your experience, we would not have known how much effort it has been invested in doing this exhibition. I would like to thank Anjana ji and Prajwal ji for sharing your experience and insight. And I would also like to thank Bodhisattva Gallery for bringing change in Newa art, which is so important to continue our living heritage, art, and culture. Thank you.